Hello all, some interesting updates. Last night the Dow is actually down again, another 45 points, down to 11,000. Oil back down a little bit, $144 a barrel. Gold too, still climbing a little bit, 971 there. Stocks over here in Asia are actually falling pretty badly for a second day, basically because of more financial concerns with some of the big banks. Obviously inflation now starting to spread over here overseas as well, and a lot of the Asian companies are trying to control that. But for me the real concern is ridiculous. Bernanke over the last couple of days has talked about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and now there's even heavy talks about how they're going to save these companies like the banks. Like I predicted earlier, there's going to be major catastrophes. There's lots more of this stuff to come, and they can't just keep trying to make up plans to rescue some of these big banks going under. Realistically, to stop the downward plummeting of stocks, the government would have to move very quickly and put the brakes on, but they're obviously a bunch of idiots and they're incapable of taking such action. Also too, if you've been watching some of the news terminals such as Bloomberg or whatever, a lot of the talk at the moment is about oil. There's a lot of tension overseas in the Middle East, obviously because there's American troops and Australian troops and a lot of the troops over there. But in Iran there's actually been missile tests that have been conducted over there, and it's actually rattled the global oil markets. And there's a little bit of tension there with the American states thinking that Iran's producing these nuclear missiles and whatnot. I mean, I could go right into that, but I won't. But basically there's a lot of accusations going on that Iran's going to start firing missiles, or they're getting ready and being prepared in case something really bad happens. And Iran, being the world's fourth largest oil producer, is also in tensions with states like Israel, Tel Aviv, and they're basically, from their point of view, they want to just be ready in case something bad happens. But if you remember what happened to oil when that piece of news item came out about the missile tests, in the late afternoon the oil prices actually surged $6 on market, and had some traders talking potential third missile test. So the crude prices have actually hit a series of record highs this year, partly over Iran. And if you think that's all going to come to an end because everything's so oil based at the moment, I would expect more news to come out and even more heavy buying rallies come into oil along the way. Like I said, it's sitting at $144 a barrel, but there's no reason why oil can't hit $200 a barrel by the end of this year. Now, over the last few days, there's been something that I found was quite interesting, and this occurred back when I actually first started trading in about 1997, and it's actually called a theory. It's actually a market crash omen, and it's actually called the Hindenburg omen. And if you remember that story, it was about the big hydrogen bus that actually came crashing down, caught on fire and killed and injured a lot of people. But there was an interesting article on the news, and someone who actually does investigate this sort of thing, and she was actually saying that Hindenburg omen basically entails a piece of technical levels on the market that signal maybe that a crash is imminent, which is fairly spooky. But I mean, for anyone that is watching my videos, I mean, you're probably not surprised anyway. And across in the financial sense, like on Wall Street, these indicator omen stories are pretty steady. Now, I was actually familiar with this Hindenburg omen, and if you're not, I will just explain what it is about, just quickly. So, basically, it's really where the market is in a state where you're getting both a 52-week high and a 52-week lows for a significant number of stocks. If you have been watching the market and you're a keen listener to what's going on, you will notice that the volatility in the market is pretty high at the moment. There's lots of new highs for different companies, there's lots of new lows, as we speak right now, for different banks and mortgage companies, mortgage related firms. But the Hindenburg omen's basically, it needs money to be leaking generally out of the market as well. It's actually quite complicated, but you can do a search on Google if you want to find out a little bit more. Now, what this lady was actually on the news, she was saying that we actually hit these conditions in early June and then again on about June 16 and 17. And esoteric as it may be, the omen apparently precedes a significant market downturn by more than 90%, well 90% of the time anyway. And I do remember the talk of this back in the 1990s crash, and also just before the crash of the dot-com era, which was about 2000 and 2001. So it is very interesting. I thought I'd bring it up. And I mean, there's a lot of people that are superstitious, but I guess it's just a good little piece of information. There are a lot of people still emailing me too. You can grab me at financial911@gmail.com. That's financial911@gmail.com. And a lot of people are still asking, you know, I'm in a different situation than other people, such and such. You know, they're asking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I buy? How can I get gold? And I will tell you that I'm actually working on about a 2 or 3 part series where I will be uploading that to my YouTube channel. But it's basically just going to give you a little bit of guidance on what you can do now in the coming month or two up until the end of the year, because I seriously think that America's recession that it's currently in, even though they're not still sort of not admitting it, the recession will turn into a severe recession and then lead on into a depression, unfortunately. So that being said, I know a lot of people out there need help. They've been emailing. I've tried to answer all the emails that I can, but I think the video that I am producing and will have a little bit more of a series structure to them will actually help people out. It really is about knowing what to do and how to go about doing that. So look out for those videos in the coming month or two. In the meantime, thank you very much for taking time out to watch this video. I enjoy hearing a lot of your comments and feedbacks, so make sure you do get involved. Thanks again. Look out for more updates. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye.